guys, happy Monday. Some pretty exciting stuff going on in the world of Making a Murderer. And actually, I'm pretty excited about it. It's actually really good, but I'm not going to get in too much detail now because I am going to go live in 55 minutes at 9 o'clock on the other channel, which is Purple Resurrected. If you're not currently subscribed, you definitely want to subscribe there. I know I was in another room before and a lot of people didn't even know it was me. So yes, Purple Resurrected is where I do all my live shows now, and this channel is for uploads. I'll probably change that down the road, but for now, I'm trying to build up the other channel. So I also know there's a lot of drama that went on today in other aspects of YouTube. So I'm going to discuss that after like 10:30, but Making a Murderer comes first. So that's why they're on at 9. And anyone that wants to stay for drama or anything else, just go ahead and stay. If not, all drama community, if you don't want to hear Making a Murderer, can definitely come in at around 10:15. Okay? So let me just state, when I first read this motion today, I was like, yeah, right, whatever, it's nothing. But I didn't read it in detail. Tonight when I was making dinner, I decided to read it in detail, and I was actually a bit surprised. I'm going to get more into exactly what was said during the live, but it's actually really exciting because it's not mind-blowing like, you know, it obviously shouldn't file an appeal, so it has nothing to do with the appeal. It just has to do with the bones. But one of the things that, and before I skip ahead, that's a really important point. I don't want anyone to think that this appeal or this like win or whatever you want to call it has anything to do with anything other than the bones, because it doesn't. This is all about the bones and the bones only. And what makes it so exciting, though, is because the Supreme Court the appeal court had ruled that not only does Avery, and I'm doing this by memory, but not only does Avery get to go back to the circuit court, which is the only part that I read originally, and I'm like, well, that's not going to get anywhere, like, who really cares? But it's bigger than that, because then when you read a little further down, they tell the courts that whatever Zellner files in relation to this, the courts have to hear out, which is the first time the Supreme Court actually did that, because usually they would just, you know, send it back to the circuit court, Judge Bitch would deny it, and that would be that. But this time it's a little different, because this time they're saying that no matter what Zellner files in accordance with this, they have to hear it. So Avery's getting a trial. He's not getting an evidentiary hearing or anything like that we know of about the bones, because the evidentiary hearing, as I understand it, that Zellner's going for has nothing to do with the bones. It has to do with the evidence from the actual trial and the appeal, which he hasn't filed yet. So I don't believe it's going to be an evidentiary hearing about the bones per se. I think it's going to be a totally separate kind of trial. So a lot of people are asking me, like, well, what's going to happen with this? What does it mean? My personal opinion, do I think that they're going to, you know, overturn it, he's going to walk out of jail? Hell no. What I do think is going to happen is they are going to not overturn it. I believe the state is going to do whatever they can to fight this. The state is going to do whatever they can to lie. The state's going to do whatever they can to make sure that nobody can possibly tell Zellner, yes, you won, this is complete violation. One of the cool things that the Supreme Court did say, though, is that, oh my God, now I forgot. One of the cool things that the Supreme Court says, let me just say, never do a video when you have nothing in front of you and you're doing it all by memory, because then you forget sometimes. But I'm going to get through this because I didn't want to pull it up because I really don't have a lot of time. So anyway, going back to what I was saying, one of the cool things that they said, I'm obviously not saying this verbatim, is that when the state answered, they didn't give a reason about the bones. They didn't give any specifics. And the Supreme Court, I keep saying the Supreme Court, the appellate courts actually kind of said that they should have said something. And that's kind of where Zellner won this. So, I mean, that's like a brief synopsis off the top of my head of what I read today. But the key points to walk away from this are: 1, I'll be live at 9. 2, on the other channel, Purple Resurrected. 2, Avery will get a trial about the bones. 3, does it mean that nothing, that he's going to walk out of jail? Absolutely not. Does it mean the Supreme Court or the appellate court is even going to rule in his favor on the appeal? Absolutely not. Does it mean he's going to get an evidentiary hearing? Absolutely not. But it's the first step in a very long journey, and 3 years that she's been fighting to make a stand somewhere. At least we can get somewhere. So, it kind of, from the motion, the way I felt, it kind of felt like the appeal courts want answers to why they did give it away. That's how I read it. So again, it's exciting. It's not earth-shattering, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. It doesn't mean it's gonna, pop open his appeal. It doesn't mean that he's now gonna win his appeal, because he can win the bones and completely lose the appeal. So that's the point that I really, really, really need to stress, is don't think that just because he wins this, he's gonna win completely, because it's not even close to being accurate. Just because he wins this doesn't mean he's going to get an evidentiary hearing, doesn't mean it's going to go any further than this. Even if he completely wins this and they rule that the state was wrong, they'll get a slap on the wrist. Someone asked me if they would be investigated. Probably not. But I mean, I don't hold the punches I don't, hold the strings in Wisconsin. But no, I don't think it's going to really go far. Far meaning like they're not going to get investigated even if they win. What'll happen is the appeal court will give them a slap on the wrist, and that's as far as it'll go. And I say that because that's what happened in Kewanee, Wisconsin. I did it as sound like an iPhone app, but there's a video for this. I did a video about police corruption not too long ago, sometime November, December. I think it was December. And one of the main points I was saying was that Kewanee Police Department, Kewanee DA, everybody in like Kewanee, Wisconsin, I think it was Kewanee, Wisconsin, had totally like lied and basically did everything. And the Supreme Court said that they were the most disgusting human beings ever. And how could they do something like this and blah, blah, blah. And what happened? Absolutely nothing. I think they got fined and a slap on the wrist. So, and they, got a reaming from the Supreme Court. Don't do it again. That's all that's going to happen. So with that said, I'm running out of time. I only have 45 minutes left to upload and everything. So again, I will be at 9 o'clock to answer any questions on this ruling at Purple Resurrected. And I hope you guys have a fantastic night. And I look forward to you in 45 minutes. All right. So be you, be real, be awesome. Speaking of that, we have merch coming. I've been talking about it on the other channel. So the way we're doing merch is everything is going to be one-of-a-kind handmade. I will do some shirts and stuff, but I bought this Cricut machine, it's called. Don't laugh at me if you know what a Cricut is. And I don't mean the bug. And it makes like labels and stuff. Not labels, but like cuts vinyl and stuff. So we're going to make wine glasses and coffee mugs and like hand-painted and designed. It's going to be really awesome. And the reason why I'm doing it is I've talked about it on the other channel. I haven't really talked about it on this one. I can't consciously have people spend like $25 on a t-shirt that's worth $3 just because it has my name on it. I can't do it. So me and the Patreons decided, you know what? Why don't we make stuff? So yes, it's going to be a project and a half, but it's personalized. Certain stuff, you guys can pick the colors you want. Shipping, I will, unless you're international, which you're going to have to pay for shipping. But I'm going to keep the cost low. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be one of a kind, and it's going to be personalized to the way you want it with my logo, obviously. So with that said, I'm closing out. I will see you guys at 9, and I hope you guys have a fantastic night. Peace out.